Howdy folks, you're on the C8 on the Speed 252 show. Scroll over to the right, click that subscribe button, and join this awesome community.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of C8 on the Speed 252. And I want to thank each and every one of you for literally pushing that play button. If you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. This is one of the best communities to be a part of. Just ask everyone that's a part of the channel right now. I have a great time, they have a great time, and I hope you have a great time as well. So definitely push that subscribe button. I love each and every one of you guys. I want to just say right off the bat, like, I love you guys so much. You guys supporting the channel is just being so helpful. Your guys' comments, your guys' feedback has been great. You know, I've been busting my butt to find the best mic. Now, right now, I do not have a mic hooked up to my chest, so I'm hoping that you guys can hear me well. If you can't hear me well, leave a comment down below right now. If you can hear this audio as good as I think you can, leave your comment down below. One of the questions I've been asked recently, since I've owned the 2020 Corvette since March during this pandemic, is, do I believe the Corvette can be a great daily driver? Not the C7 Corvette, but the C8 Corvette. And I'm going to sit here and tell you right now, yes, I do believe the 2020 C8 can be an awesome, phenomenal daily driver. And I'm going to give you tons of reasons why I personally believe the 2020 C8 Corvette can be a daily driver. So I'm going to hop into number one. The number one thing that I truly believe the reason why the 2020 Corvette can be a good daily driver is because of the great gas mileage that this car gets. Now, I know a lot of guys, I've seen posts and comments and threads and stuff, like when people ask about the gas mileage, and people are like, you know, who cares about the gas mileage? Like, we didn't buy a Corvette for gas mileage. Certain people do care about it, which is why Chevrolet made a good point to make this car great on gas. Now, obviously, you're tracking the car, or you're flowing it really hard, your gas mileage is going to fluctuate, correct? But if you're driving this car on a daily basis to the same location all the time, back and forth to work, back and forth to your parents' house, on road trips, your gas mileage is going to be great. So I'm going to tell you right now, the best gas mileage I have gotten in this car since I have owned this car has been 33.1 miles per gallon. That's crazy to me. I can't recall getting that type of gas mileage on my C7 Corvette. I haven't looked at it in a long time, but I'm pretty sure it's not 33.1 miles per gallon, probably high 20s. As far as in the city, I average about 19 miles per gallon in the city. I truly believe that is awesome gas mileage for a sports car. Think about it, 33 on the highway, 19 in the city. That's pretty good in my personal opinion, you guys. I mean, I haven't really had any problems at all with the gas mileage. The car has been great. I'm going to see if I can actually find that to be accurate, but the last time I seen it, yes, so 33.1 miles on the highway and 19.2 miles in the city. That's great. That's another reason why I think the 2020 Corvette can be an awesome daily driver. The number two reason why I think the 2020 Corvette can be an awesome daily driver, I guess she wants to get the photos. So for that reason, I'm gonna go ahead and say that's number two. That's number two. The number two reason why the 2020 Corvette can be an awesome, good daily driver is because you're gonna put a lot of smiles on a lot of people's faces, right? On an everyday basis, this car will run across people's eyes who've never seen it before, who never had an opportunity to really get up close on it, and people who are actually interested in buying this car still generally haven't seen it before. There's been times where I've been at gas stations, dealerships, you know, restaurants, and people walk through the car and was like, "This is the new mid engine?" I'm like, "Yeah." They was like, "You know, I never seen one in person before. I heard a lot of talks about it, but they never had an opportunity to see one in person." So for you guys who own your 2020 Corvettes or 2021s, whatever the case may be, when you get those cars, drive those cars, you guys. Do not let them sit in the garage, unless you're thinking that if you keep it for a long period of time, it will, you know, the value will increase. Most likely won't be the case, just because GM does build tons and tons of these cars, right? Like, you got the Stingray, the Z06, the Grand Sport, the Zora, and the Z01. With those mini replicas of the 2020 C8 Corvette, the value is going to be kind of suspect. But once again, I didn't buy the 2020 Corvette to hopefully sell at some point to get out of and be like, oh, well, I hope the value increased. No, I bought it because I wanted to enjoy it. So with that being said, that's the number 2 reason why I think the 2020 Corvette can be an awesome daily driver, because you can bring smiles to so many people's faces who aren't used to seeing an exotic car. And number 3, you guys will be like, well, why do you consider the 2020 Corvette an exotic car? That can go back and forth all day long. But this is why I'm going to say the 2020 Corvette could fall in a place of being now an exotic supercar. Granted, with Chevrolet being so many, some of you guys may say it probably won't be an exotic supercar. But right now, it's definitely a supercar. Two, when people see this car in person and they don't know what it is, they say it's a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, or a McLaren. We all know all 3 of those cars are exotic cars. If someone walks up to this car right now and says it's a Lamborghini, a McLaren, or a Ferrari, I'm going to immediately think, man, they either don't know cars or this car looks just that great. Those cars are exotic, so why can't this car be? Number reason why it can't be, for you guys will probably say like, oh, they build so many of them. You know, it's not an exotic car because it won't be rare. But at the end of the day, to a lot of people in the world who really don't know much about cars, this could be an exotic supercar to them. Most likely they would think this is a Ferrari. I'm just being completely honest with you. And that reason why this car could possibly fall into the exotic supercar territory. I mean, Chevrolet built a phenomenal mid-engine coupe and convertible. Now, obviously, the convertibles have not came out yet. I heard those builds will start August 1st, which pretty much is in a couple of months from now. But overall, this car looks great. Now, GM decided to go and step into some exotic colors, like lime green or whatever the case may be. People are going to instantly think this car is a supercar. Right off the bat, exotic come in. So it's one of those things where this is another great reason why I think this car is a daily driver, because 1, the gas mileage is great. 2, lots of people will love to look at it. And 3, I think it's an exotic supercar. Can you imagine driving an exotic supercar on a regular basis? Can you imagine that? So many people in the world want to own Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, McLarens, and now you can get into a 2020 C8 Corvette that looks just as good as those cars, if not better, but affordable. The 4th reason why I think the 2020 C8 Corvette is a daily driver, because of the space that GM gives you in the front and the trunk. Most mid-engine sports cars do not have a trunk space in the back. Now, I know a lot of you guys go back and forth all the time whether or not like they should have just turned that into just the mid-engine platform and not have the extra extended back. But to me, I love taking my roof off. I think GM giving us the opportunity to take this roof off and put it in the back, give us the opportunity to say we have a convertible, even though we're not pushing a button to call it a convertible. It is a coupe, but it gives us the opportunity to say it is a convertible, because we can take the top off, put it in the back, and enjoy the nice breeze and nice weather that comes along with owning a 2020 C8 engine Corvette. Now, obviously, if you're a business guy, you're traveling around the country, you can put your suitcases in the back, you can put your suitcases in the front, depending on how big they are, what you're planning on packing, what you're planning on taking. I have not yet personally put any suitcases inside of this vehicle. I have taken this trip with I have taken this car on a trip, you know, out of town, and I put a few things in. I keep most of my belongings in the front, just because in the back my roof can go on at any given time, and I don't want that roof to take up whatever space I need back there. So or the space or the items I put back there to take up the space from the roof. So that's why I put most of my items in the front space. If you are daily driving this car, you can take this car to the grocery store. Now, I will admit, I don't know how much groceries you can barely put in here. If you got the roof on, you can put groceries in the front, you can put groceries in the back. Now, if you're going to make groceries for like a family of 10, I don't think the Corvette is probably your best bet to take to the grocery store. If you're going to pick up some few items, you know, your wife and your girlfriend say, hey babe, go to the store, get some salt and pepper, get some ham, get some brisket, get some chicken legs, some things like that, then you may be able to go ahead and pull out the 2020 Corvette and pick up those groceries. Now, me personally, I do not grocery shop in my 2020 Corvette, just because the grocery store is full of shopping carts. It's full of you know, other cars that, you know, you never know if somebody can rear end you. And the last thing I want to do is have my car hit at the grocery store just because I want to go pick up one item. To me, that's not worth the headache. But some of you guys who plan to daily drive your 2020 Corvettes, which a lot of you guys do, I mean, going to the grocery store is not a bad idea. Now, I know a lot of you guys like to drive your cars to just ice cream. Now, I like to drive my car to go get ice cream, but that ain't the only reason why I use it. I use it for numerous reasons. I'm just making a YouTube video, teaching you guys things about a new car as a new car progresses, and I get used to it and all that great stuff. So that's another reason why I think the 2020 Corvette can be an awesome daily driver. Another reason why I think the 2020 Corvette can be a phenomenal daily driver is because the space in this car is unbelievable. I am 6'2", 185 pounds, and I fit in this car really well. Now, I don't know, how tall you guys are, how much your torso, waist, and all that stuff is, but you guys should go find a 2020 C8 Corvette and sit in it to give yourself an opportunity to figure out whether you fit. Now, I will admit, I fit better in this car than my C7 Corvette, but I don't have a problem with driving either car on a road trip. Over time, no car is really comfortable. I mean, you might be able to drive a truck, but your gas mileage is going to be crappy. You can drive a Prius, but it's going to be a really small car. I mean, no car is really 100% comfortable, right? I mean, especially you think about like supercars and exotic cars. Like some of those cars just isn't as comfortable as you would hope them to be. But, it's one of those things where we want to enjoy them where we can. And if you're interested in taking your car on a road trip, the 2020 Corvette is a perfect car for a daily driver and a awesome road trip. I mean, right now I'm literally sitting comfortable, nice and snug. I'm not on the track, on a normal highway, talking to you guys, explaining to you guys how awesome of a car this is, not feeling stressed out whatsoever. The car is just great. Another reason why I think the 2020 Corvette is an awesome and phenomenal daily driver, because you can literally customize this cockpit to your liking. Chevrolet built this cockpit to help the driver feel better when they're driving in their 2020 C8 Mid Engine Corvette. As you can see, it's like a jet, like most people say, in the inside of this bad boy. Like it just hugs, it snugs the driver in a good way, not in a bad way. Once again, I'm 6'2", plenty of leg space. I can move my seat back if I want to. Watch this. Yeah. See, look how much space I have. Now, is it comfortable to drive this way? Absolutely not. But I have a lot of space in my car to put my seat more back. That way it give me a lot of leg space, arm space, what the case may be. So for me, I'm 6'2". So that being said, I mean, a guy 6'5" can probably easily fit in here just fine. And you will love it. For a lot of you guys who probably plan on tracking this car, I think for a guy that's 6'2", 6'3", you have a helmet on, you can see the space right now between my head and the roof. There's plenty of space in here for me to actually enjoy taking this car to the track. That's what the whole point of having Z mode, right? You can change the modes however you want to, which is another reason why I think this car is the perfect daily driver, more so than the C7 Corvette. Now, the C7 Corvette is an awesome daily driver. I'm going to get in that car as well at some point and talk about why I think that car is an awesome daily driver for what it is. But the reason why I think the C8 Corvette is a better daily driver is because of the technology that Chevrolet put inside the 2020 C8 Mid Engine Corvette. One, the Z mode, right? You can literally get in your 2020 Corvette, and if you're driving to work one day or every day, and there is this road that you just love to floor it on, love to treat it as you're on the track in a safe environment, you can literally just hit the Z button, and that alone will literally switch the car back and forth into the modes you want it to be in. Now, I just hit the Z button, and I'm now in sport mode. I can hit it again, now I'm back in tour mode. That's that comfortable mode that I really appreciate a lot. Thank you, Chevrolet, for giving us that tour mode. I'm going to put it back in sport mode because I enjoy being in sport mode. And right now, obviously, I'm not on any track or anything like that, but I love hearing that phenomenal exhaust back there. That takes me to my next point. Another reason why I think the Chevrolet 2020 C8 Mid Engine Corvette is another daily great driver is because you can literally hear yourself talk when you're in the car. Like I said before, you guys, I just bought 3 mics for my car. 3 mics for my car. And I'm literally hoping that these mics are working extremely well so you guys can hear me and hear everything I'm saying. Obviously, the exhaust for this car is pretty freaking loud. And look at it. Alright, you guys, so another reason why this car is a great daily driver is because you may be able to run into another C8 Mid Engine Corvette and you actually get the chance to race them. There's a white one coming up right beside me. I don't know if you guys can see it in the camera, but that was an all white, matte white that he wrapped, and we just raced for a brief second actually. You know, having a C8 Corvette as a daily driver is a phenomenal thing. I mean, like, obviously he's out here joining his. I think his is probably going to be VIN number 400 something. I think what he said earlier. We met at the dealership. I went by to check out another C8 that they had in the showroom, and it's one of those things where, like, literally you get the opportunity to race whatever car you would like to today. The C8 Stingray is not a slouch when it comes down to racing other vehicles. When I was at the dealership and I was sitting in the parking lot talking to another subscriber of the channel, there was a crap ton of cars that just came through, circling through over and over and over again, because the C8 gives off that exotic look that everybody's been wanting and expecting. And the crazy part was, you seen trucks come in. I seen a McLaren 570 come in, and like they came in and looked at the car. I was like, man, that car looks sweet. That's another good thing about daily driving a 2020 C8 Mid Engine Corvette. Another good thing I realized that I love about daily driving a 2020 C8 Mid Engine Corvette is the conversations that I had with people, the conversations that I had with you guys, and the conversation I just had with followers overall. Like, you guys, you know me, man. I can talk about the 2020 C8 Corvette all day long. My goal is to always provide you guys with the best information that I can regarding the 2020 Corvette before you get your own and why you have your own, so that way you can learn and understand how this car works and how this car will really treat you. I mean, every day I get people asking me questions, you know, about tire size, about the wheels, about the wind noise, about all that stuff. And I want to be able to be that guinea pig for you guys, because one, I enjoy, you know, providing knowledge to you guys, and two, I enjoy talking about the car. Those to me is a win-win scenario. And I really respect what Chevrolet have done with the C8 Mid Engine Corvette and making this car such a wonderful, wonderful daily driver. I mean, another reason why I think this car is a phenomenal daily driver, because a lot of people talk about like how other mid-engine sports cars, blind spots are really bad. One thing I love about the blind spots that you can somewhat see in the C8 Corvette. Now, obviously, if you take a look back there, there's a blind spot, there's a blind spot over there. But for you guys who are new to the channel that haven't subscribed yet, and please do, if you take a look at the rear view mirror, and I said this in plenty of other my videos, if you flip this mirror, it turns into a camera. I can actually see 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4 lanes once I decide to flip this over to being a rear view camera. If I decide to take it to the mirror portion, which all I'll do is flip like this, now I can only see just the lane behind me. I wouldn't do that. I will always have it in mirror, and it's going to take you probably a couple of days to get used to the mirror, because you're adjusting your eyes, are trying to get used to something that you have never seen before. Like, this is my first time ever owning a rear view mirror that's actually a camera. Everybody's eyes is just looking at the mirror. That's what they're used to doing. But it took me a couple of days to get used to this, and I like this a whole lot better because you get a lot more vision. And obviously, you can look at the side rear view mirrors as well, and that's what I greatly appreciate with the C8 Corvette. Another thing that I genuinely love about the 2020 C8 Mid Engine Corvette is the actual mirrors on the outside, right? Most people, when you're owning a Corvette or some type of exotic car in general, supercar, whatever, you kind of want to park your car far away from other people. Whether you're going to work, grocery store, whatever the case may be, you don't want your car parked next to another bunch of cars, just because you want to avoid like the damage, the dings, and things like that. Granted, most of the time, if you park far away, you guys know this, somebody's bound to park next to you. What I didn't like about the C7, what I thought the C7 should have had, was fold-in mirrors. With the C8 Corvette, if you buy a 2LT or a 3LT, when you lock your car door will automatically signals the mirror to go in and fold in. That way, you don't have to worry about people parking so close to you, and if they do, your mirrors are folded in instead of you having to manually unfold them when you get to the car. That's another thing I love about daily driving a 2020 C8 Corvette, because Chevrolet thought outside the box. They made a car looks super great, on top of giving you attributes to the car that will help you be able to daily drive your car. Another thing, now this is a big one, absolutely big one, you guys, absolutely a big one. Another reason why I think the 2020 C8 Corvette is a awesome daily driver is because of the front end lift. I felt like the C7 Corvette should have came with a front end lift, but it didn't. That's neither here nor there. The reason why this 2020 C8 Mid Engine Corvette is a better daily driver than the C7 Corvette is because of the front end lift. This car can remember 1,000 locations when you're driving the car. Now think about it. If you're daily driving the 2020 C8 Corvette, right, and you're going to work, you may leave, go to office, you may go to lunch, you may go to your favorite place, and you don't know what the road conditions is. Sometimes it's regarding, like, there's a pothole, there's a speed bump, whatever the case may be. If you set your car to those patterns, knowing that you're going to go those patterns pretty often, and 1,000 locations is a lot. This car will go over those speed bumps and memorize it, and going up in height while you're driving. You don't even have to push the button. Me personally, right now, I don't have anything programmed in my car, not even the garage remote, and I will make a video with that at some point and teaching you guys how to program your car for you remember the 1,000 locations. But it's a phenomenal feature to have when you're daily driving a 2020 C8 Corvette. And I'm telling you right now, man, I can go on and on and on how much this car is an awesome daily driver for whoever decides to get it. Whether you buy the 2020 just basic Stingray 1LT, basic Stingray, whether you buy the high-end Z51 3LT package with everything, this car is a phenomenal daily driver, and it provides you with so much opportunity regarding, you know, racing people sometimes in Mexico when you're not supposed to, you know, being able to have great conversation with other people, being able to put smiles on other people's faces and kids' faces as they're rolling by, to give them something to remember, take pictures, take photos, and the memories that you create yourself with your own car regarding going to Z mode, which is a mode that you can use whenever you want to go on that busy road, that day you want to go on a non-busy road. Things like that makes the 2020 Mid Engine Corvette such an awesome daily driver, you guys. So I want to thank you guys for watching this upload, watching this video, and I hope these tips help you consider daily driving your 2020 C8 Corvette. As you guys know, I have a crap ton of miles on mine. Just spoke to a guy recently that has 15,000 miles on his. So, I mean, at the end of the day, to me, I'm not worried about the depreciation of the car. I'm worried about the appreciation that I have for the car. Not the depreciation, but the appreciation that I have for the car. You know, I love coming up with these slogans and terms. I know you guys love them too, but that's just who I am at the end of the day, and I like to bring the smile to my face and to you guys' faces. So once again, I'm not worried about the depreciation, but the appreciation that I have for this car. So you guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. I would love to have you part of the community. With that being said, we out.
Is your seatbelt fastened? All right. Let's go.